everybody, welcome back to Doga Speed Shop. So we're going to get into wiring up the winch. I don't know why I turned the light off for the trailer. And as you can see, I've been messing around with it a little bit here. So I'll get into more detail what I've done and what the plan is for this. So make sure you check out the last video of me doing all this stuff. I also ran into a problem once I got the hitch working, or the winch working, and some flexibility here. So I'll get more into that as we get going into the video. Let's go ahead and get started with wiring this thing up. All right, so just to go into a little bit of what this, what's involved with this. So you have your winch. There's only two wires that go to that. And basically it's just it's kind of like a door or a window switch in a car, where you just reverse polarity and it goes one way or the other. So it's just a typical electric motor. As far as the wiring goes, this one came with a switch. And so you can get your battery power here, turn the switch on, and it brings power to the winch. Then you have your solenoid down here, which I already have wired up. And it's impossible to mess it up because it is color coded. So the posts are yellow to yellow, black to black, blue to blue, and red to red. And the only other difference is you got these wires down here, which is your remote control for this, or your toggle switch that goes on your dash if you have it mounted inside a car. And the only other thing is this red wire right here. If you're hooking into your car, your UTV or ATV or whatever the heck they're called these days, that's supposed to go to ignition hot. So when you turn your key on, that turns power on. They say in the instructions that it will not work without that hooked up to your ignition switch. Well, all you gotta do is put power to it. So I just hooked it to the 12 volt, to the actual main switch for mine. So that's all there is to the wiring on this. And I'm gonna get into a little bit as far as how I'm gonna make this more modular. And it's gonna involve these cables here and a disconnect. So when I get that part, I will let you know and we'll get into it and get it hooked up so y'all can see it. All right, so just real quick, I'm gonna demonstrate how this thing works. So as you see, I got it hooked to the tie down in the back there. So you have, a typical remote. It's real simple, in and out. So we're gonna bring it in a little bit. We gotta turn the power on first. So right now I just got the battery temporarily hooked up. Turn the switch power on. And that's simple. So you go in. So one of the things I had discovered from my install here, let me flip this around so y'all can see a little better. So I wasn't sure, I had a feeling it might flex when I actually pull on it. So if you watch this beam right here, watch out, it's definitely flexing. So I need to reinforce this back here somehow in order to make that a little bit better. So I kind of had a feeling it might be that way. I mentioned it in my last video, installing all this stuff. And the other thing it does flex the middle one. And I wanted to test to see what I do with the trigger. I want to see if it flexes this end one here as well. Now that one's nice and sturdy, but the middle, because there's no support underneath it, it starts to pull that middle up a little bit. But that's only gonna matter if I'm, when I'm tying something down, but these corner ones are working good. But I just need to reinforce that area there so it stops flexing. And we'll figure out a way of doing that during this video. So I mentioned before how I wanna make this modular. The way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna cut these cables here. And I bought this today at Napa. They actually had one in stock for a 4-gauge wire. So it's one of these style of plugs. And once you connect them, then you have this nice beefy plug here. You can see it for a 4-gauge wire. So it says you can crimp them, so I'm gonna try crimping them. I'll probably solder it too. But Okay, so what I'm going to do is cut that wire, cut these 2 wires here, and leave just enough to where they're nice and level and or nice and even, and set it up to where I can unplug it. That way I can unplug the winch, pull it off anytime I want, and I can just tuck the wires back into the box. And I got another plan too for some charging ports for the front, and I'll explain that a little bit more. I ordered them from Summit. They should be here. They said it's tomorrow. I just ordered them I don't know, half an hour ago. But that's what I love about Summit. They're 4 hours away from me, and they usually deliver next day, which is cool. So I think we're gonna start with that. And once we get that wired up, we can remove the hitch, remove the box again, so we can start reinforcing this this back panel here so it doesn't flex anymore on us. So let's get inside. I decided to brighten up the area a little bit by opening the door because it's a nice sunny day today. And there's a breeze blowing, so we got a little bit of air in here. So we're gonna go ahead and cut these wires. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the winch and wire it up separately so I'm not playing around, down inside this area right here. So for now, I just wanna run these kind of neatly next to each other. I'm just gonna zip tie them so they stay level with each other, stay even with each other. All right, so that'd be a nice level, even run. So I'll go ahead and cut these. So if you watched my last video, you already know how this works, but if you haven't, this is got a pin in here. It's just basically a trailer hitch. Pull the pin out, and the whole thing comes out. So now we can take this over here. And we can wire it up separately right here. So we gotta cut these wires back so they fit down inside here. All right. A wire crimper. I'm going to use the hydraulic one. I don't think it's going to be crushing enough. Yep, that's not even coming close to crushing. So we're soldering. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just heat this up. Hopefully this solder is good enough. Let's get some shrink wrap around these things. Seem to wanna. Good, big enough. So I definitely think one of my next investment needs to be one of those cordless heat guns. All right, so we got both of those soldered in and heat shrunk now. So now we got to plug them into this thing. I'm going to do, for positive, I'm going to do the yellow, and just because it's more bright and blue is closer to black, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do positive is yellow and negative is going to be blue. So things are real simple. The round end is the end you put these in. They just pop in and they're held tight against this thing. So got to get it in the right direction, which is, I believe, this way. And that's positive, that's yellow. It doesn't go that way, so it must go like that. Don't worry, I'll figure it out. Bam, so it pops in there. Now you have a connection. Do the same thing with this side, if I can just remember which way it went. Like that. So now we have a modular system for the winch. So this will plug into this one. It won't plug in when there's no connector on the inside, because this actually pushes it down. I don't know if you can see that or not. See the difference on how it's connected? So once you pop your cables in there, it pushes these down. Now allow it to go together. So until I get the other side hooked up, those are gonna interfere and not go in. So we still have the other side of the cables that go into the box to do. So I'm gonna knock those out real quick. And when I'm done with that, we'll come back and I'll show you how this winch works. Okay, so I totally had it wrong on how these went in there. If you look down in there, that's the way I thought it. The one on the left was the one I thought the way it was. But you actually want the whole thing to pop through like that. So I went to plug it in, obviously it didn't plug in. So I'll show you how to take that out. Okay, so the way they're in there, then they're wrong. And when you get them out, you have to press down on it just to relieve a little bit of the pressure. And it'll pop out of the back. So now you just gotta flip it around. So this side is facing upwards. So you want that little bump to go up through the hole in the back. So basically the hump goes towards the hump on the back side. So you get it in there, clip it in, and you go through one more click. And you see how it's different, how it's in there now. So I gotta do the other side. Just turn it around. There we go. So now you got the two sides in there. And now they should plug into each other. Now, there you go. Nice solid connection. Since that video turned out a little bit low, this is what you want to have for a finished product. You want to be all the way through to where the ends are pretty much touching touching the very outside, like that. And then it'll clip together. So now, with those both showing like that, they plug right in. I just hurt my arm a minute ago, so voila. One of the things I almost forgot to do, got these little booties that need to go on here. So I put one on the blue one already. Could add one to the yellow, one to the black, and one to the red. If you look on the winch, I already have them on there. Just a little added protection so things don't short out as well. So I definitely found a small design flaw. They put the main power to the back where you mount your solenoid. So you gotta be careful that doesn't touch any metal because you don't want to short out. And so I added an Adele clamp right here because these wires are pretty small. I don't want to be pulled on, especially since that's a remote wire. So I just wanted something holding it there. So I just used the screw that holds the solenoid and use an Adele clamp or a P clamp, whatever you want to call it. And that way it can be pulled on a little bit and not pull the little wires out. All right, so I just want to show you all. I just got held on with vice grips right now as far as the battery cables go. So the way it works, turn the switch on, and that gives power to everything. It's not working yet because it's not plugged in. So I'll plug the remote in. Hopefully I can do this with one hand. A lot easier said than done. I don't know how some people do this all the time on their videos. Okay, I'm setting you down for. All right, plugged in. So do a little extra straight length here. I'm going to put you on a stand so y'all can see it working. Then I'll put some tension on the line to make it work. So now when you're done, turn the power off. And if I want to remove the winch, you just pull the plug apart. And voila, everything is tucked into the box. The vice grip's in the way. Okay, so now we got done playing around with it, and it's another whole new day. Let's go ahead and get this all tucked away here. Get the winch back off. Now we need to reinforce the beam back here. So we're gonna do some cutting, welding, grinding, and metal work today. So we got everything out of there now. We gotta pull this off. Have to pull the box off here in a minute too. So I'm gonna pull all that stuff off, and I got something new that I'll talk about later. But anyways, let's get this box off. I'm gonna mark it first so I know where the box is at, so I don't put any metal past that. Get the winch out of the way and start to fortify this back beam a little bit so it can handle the winch pulling on something. All right, so I think for starters, I'm gonna run a gusset. I'm gonna use a piece of 1x2 tubing and run it from back here down to here. And I'll probably do a triangulated piece from here to here just for extra support, or from here to up here. So that's what the plan is so far. And it also made me realize that with these shackles over here now, it might benefit having some plating here to help support that too. So I might put a plate here with a gusset around it just to give it a little extra support there as well. All right, so I got the first piece cut. It's gonna basically go just like that to gain support that way, so shouldn't pull it up that way anyways. I have to do a little filler underneath there, but that's fine. It's like about a 1/4 inch. I got some 1/4 inch plate over there I can make something out of real easy. So just to fill that gap. So we'll do that, we'll test it, see if it's enough. If it's not enough, then we'll do some more gusseting. But I think it's gonna be, I think it'll do a lot of good, but I just don't know if it's gonna be enough. So hopefully this piece is strong enough. It's the same thickness as the rest of it. Is that gonna need to be reinforced? I don't know yet. We'll figure it out when it comes time. All right, so this is what I got so far. You see, I got a little piece of 1/4 inch in there to fill the gap. And it's just because of the plate with the actual mount up there is there. So just gonna weld it in now, see how that holds up. All right, so we got that welded in. And gonna test it first to see if we need any more or if that's gonna do it. And then we'll figure out something to do on this side here on both ends to reinforce this a little bit. We've got an idea for that, so we'll see. It's time to put our gusset to the test here. Let's get the winch back in there. Plug her in. Lock it. That usually helps. All right. So we need to watch right here. Make sure that thing ain't flexing. Let's see, be flexing there. Give it a little bit more just to see. That's pulling the whole trailer together. That's awesome. So that did the trick. This is not moving at all. It's actually like torquing the whole freaking trailer down. So that fix did the trick. So I'm very happy about that. So let's compare what it looks like now with no flex compared to what it looked like flexing. All right, I can definitely live with that. Nice. All right, fix that problem. So I'm thinking to reinforce this, I'm just gonna put a plate from the top down to about midway down this, and then put a rib on it of some sort. Let's see what the heck I'm doing. So a plate from the top down to about midway, and then to do some kind of a rib just to help strengthen that for tie down. I think that'll work. I don't comment about it. My buddy Pete will give me shit about it, so it's painted. All right, so I'm working on the bracing for the back of the what are these called? The back of the D-ring, the ratchet points. So for back here. And I decided to go a little extra with it. I want to do a little backbone on it, or a rib, or whatever you want to call it, some gusseting. So I decided to go with that route. Took a piece of this 4-inch and created that shape on both of them, and that'll be my support for the back of those. So hopefully that'll do the job. I don't think it needs a whole lot of extra support, but just anything extra will help. So that's what I'm doing. Then it gives me a couple extra points to, I don't know, attach stuff to, who knows. But anyways, just thought I'm trying to make it look cool. So I got the area cleaned up where I'm gonna put these. And I made holes in it too, so I can do some plug welds in it too to give it even more strength. This could basically be just like that. Just to give it a little more of a backbone. So it's gonna be a little more structurally sound. So let's get them welded on there. All right, so I'm finally done welding on the trailer, at least for now. And yes, they look like crap because I got a crappy welder. I need to get a new welder. And I'm not that great of a welder, but those aren't gonna go anywhere. And they'll support those D-rings. I'm gonna clean them up, grind them down a little bit to make them look a little nicer, get the plug welds at least ground down. But other than that, it's pretty much done. I can put the box back on and yeah, should be good to go. All right, so decided not to grind down the plug welds. I just painted over them. So now they're gone, sort of. So those plates are done, and let's get the box back on there, and that's gonna complete this round of upgrades. All right, so we got the box back on. So in this video, we did the winch wiring, and we did the reinforcement for the D-rings, reinforcement for the hitch, for the winch, and that's pretty much it. So that'll complete this video. All right, that's gonna wrap up this round of upgrades and modifications to the trailer. So I'm definitely ready, and the trailer's ready to go to San Diego to pick up the Camaro. So I'm definitely gonna be putting a video out when I do that trip, hopefully at the beginning of next month. So if you like this video, go ahead and leave a like down there. I gotta slow down my speech a little bit. It's getting late and I start talking fast. So leave me a comment. Let me know what I can do better. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. So until next time, I'll see y'all later.